Welcome, friend, to the Journey podcast. This podcast is an extension of the Manor House Ministries, headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our mission is to see that every sojourner finds home in Jesus. To learn more about us, follow us on Instagram at ManorHouseCC or on our website at manorhouse.us. We're happy you're here today. Now let's get into this episode of the Journey podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the Journey podcast. I'm just going to dive right in because we don't have a lot of time and I want us to be able to talk about this topic. So we teased about the series that we're doing on honoring one's parents. And in this episode, we're going to be talking more about what it actually means to honor your parents. And what does it actually look like? And hopefully we can get some practical help and examples to kind of help us in our day to day. So I'm excited to have my co-hosts here today and leading the discussion. Yay. For those who are listening, you can't see him. He just did. I don't know what those are. I have no idea. I can't even describe it because I don't even know what they are.
Don't worry about it.
He did a happy dance. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
But Femi, tell us, what does it mean to honor our parents?
I think the question is I don't want to say that's a good question because I really don't know.
You don't know?
I really don't know. The reason why I'm saying that is that I think there is like a baseline kind of understanding of honor, but also there's the cultural nuances that comes with honor that it varies from culture to culture. Like as a Nigerian, growing up in Nigeria and Africa, and I think that there's a descriptive understanding of honor that my parents expect, or even an African Nigerian parents expect of me that in the West it's not the same. So I think that honor would, I would say, culturally just be a little bit different. But let me talk from my own context in terms of what honor looks like. I think that I want to say it again, as a cultural appropriate way to honor our parents. So I wouldn't say this is like a blanket honor. This is what everyone should do, whether you're a Nigerian or you're. So it's like I think what honor looks like is for you as a child to figure out what is the cultural appropriate way to honor my parents. In my culture, I hope I'm not casting a Western idea of honor to what it means to honor my parents. I hope I'm not kind of just borrowing a different understanding of honor and say, well, my parents are overbearing. Because if you compare them to what honor means in this culture, it might be different. So first, I would say, find a cultural appropriate way to honor your parents. For example, our parents really, growing up in Nigeria, don't have a 401k. And then most times we, the children, have a 401k. So sometimes honoring our parents is like, hey, it is like supplying their needs and providing for their needs. So that could be a way for that. I mean, that's a cultural way. If I grew up in America, maybe I would say that, well, I don't care. They should have a 401k. They should take care of themselves. They should have saved more. They should do all of those things more. But I think growing up where I grew up, culturally, I think it's expected that you give back to your parent. That's something that is expected of you to do. So I would say that's a way for me to honor my parents. That, okay, how do I care for them? I know you have a question. Please go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I guess, how would you define honor, right? Would you say there's a difference between respect and honor? And if yes, what's that distinction in your words? What do you think?
I think that honor means, I think there's a reverence in honor, and there's a sense of submission also in honor. I think respect also will be subsumed somewhere, even in honor. Honor goes beyond just saying I respect you and all of that. Well, I think if you respect also, like the same language of well, wife, respect your husband. I think that, yeah, that also has some reverence and even submission in it. So maybe I really don't know exactly how to kind of separate those two words, but I think that there is reverence and submission in honor, saying that the idea of honoring our parents is that there's some reverence to them, there's some submission to them. And I know that changes because if you read the text, the Ephesians text, there's language of obey your parents. And I think that if Ephesians text is more talking about like when you are living with your parents, and then the other text that we read, the honor part is when you become an adult, the separation of, okay, there's obedience. So as an adult child, you're not required to obey your parents, but you're required to still honor them, even when you're no longer living with them. So if you're living with your parents, yes. But if you're out of your parents, married, even not married, you're an adult. It changes from honor from obedience to now honoring them and saying, how do I honor them? Like I was saying, that is a cultural appropriate way to honor them. But there are other things that you can do practically to honor your parents. Sometimes you don't feel like talking to them because they've got you angry. Sometimes honoring them is just say, hey, even though I've not liked the way I've been treated by this man or this woman, but they're still my parents. And I'm required to honor them because it is right in the sight of God. It's the right thing to do. And I get to do it, not because I'm so excited about doing it. If you're married, sometimes your commitment to your wife is not, or to your husband, it's not because you really like them that on that day. Some days you don't like them being with them, but you still love them. And it's that commitment you have towards them and say, well, I don't like you right now, but I still love you. I have a commitment towards you. And I'm going to still fulfill those commitments, those vows I've made. I'm going to still do it anyways. So I think that the honor that God is asking of us, of our parents, is not because our parents are perfect. And then when Paul is talking about these verses, the verses we read in our first episode, it is a strong imperative that is rooted in the concept of doing it as unto God. I'm just doing it to God.
Right.
I'm doing it to God. So it's not because they're going to be they are perfect. In fact, it's saying that in spite of their imperfection, we still honor them.
So who chooses how you honor your parents? Like, is it a thing of they say, this is the way I want you to honor me? Or is this a thing of you as the child, you say, I respect and love my parents. This is what I want to do. In my eyes, is enough to show that I honor them or I'm honoring them. So how does that get decided and played out? Because if you think that you're doing all you can for your parents and they don't appreciate it, are you actually honoring them?
Yeah, I think just like if you read the five love languages, like loving people how they want to be loved, there's something about that. But also it's like, hey, if you want me to give an X amount of money that I don't have, and if only I give that is how is when you define you being honored, then
Right.
it's not really fair on my own budget and my own livelihood if you just don't care. So there is, I would say, there's a sense that there is a conversation that needs to be had on that. And also, if you remember when we started this text and saying, "Oh no," because it's right, like it's right before before the sight of God. So let me tell you how I've done this. There was a time when the demands on me from my parents was becoming like I can't do it. So, and I was wrestling with that question of like, how much is enough for me to do, and then where do I draw the line? But I want to honor them. But this is becoming even. I can't keep up with this. So one thing I did was just looking at my budget and saying, okay, what can I conveniently do, and then what is also reasonable for them. So after that is done, see, I think I'm honoring them uh, because it's the right thing to do before the sight of God. So I have to just give an account to God and how I'm doing it. So I go to God and say, God, this is what I think I have a capacity to do. And then before God, my conscience is clear that this is what I have the capacity to do. Truthfully, it's not because I don't want to do more, but it's because like truthfully, this is how much I can do. This is how far I can do, even when I stretch myself. So I think that there is that honesty between me and God and saying, God, how much can I do? How much can I do for them that is also reasonable, that no matter what they ask, at that point in time, I begin to have peace that I've done what I can do. No matter what you say, before God, I know my conscience is clear and I've done the best I could do. And sometimes it's like there's a sense that you have to talk to them and say, hey, don't assume that I have all these things going well. Let me tell you exactly so sometimes you need to explain, hey, this is what is happening. And I think it's that they are parents. I'm not sure they're unreasonable in that sense. Sometimes they just don't know exactly. So you might need to talk to them and say, hey, I want to do well. I want to care for you. I want to honor you this way because I believe that is the right thing to do. But this is my capacity. And then would you bear with me? Would you be praying that I can be able to do more? So I think there's a sense of conversation. There's a sense of you also talking to your Father in heaven and saying, Father, this is how much I can do. Help me to have peace. And then while I try to honor them, this is how much I can do. And also talk to them. Hey, this is what I can do. Would you take it and would you bless it and would you be okay with it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really good. And I know, from an African perspective, a lot of the way, especially with parents who are considering us their retirement fund, it's a lot of it is monetary value.
Correct.
But for those that are blessed enough to not have that burden and their parents are not looking at them for financial supports and in that way of honoring them, what are some other ways that you could possibly honor your parents without it, outside of financial and monetary? And then we'll just wrap up this episode.
Call them. Show up. Just be present in their life. I think we get caught up with how busy life is. We have a 9 to 5, or maybe you have another even extra than 9 to 5 that you're doing that keeps you busy. You have your own family. You have a whole lot of things that is competing for your time. But be present. Call them. Spend time with them. It means a whole lot. When our parents are getting older, they become lonelier. All those things, it means a whole lot. I used to call my dad and just call him and say, hey, you know what? What do you remember about my childhood? Just chat. And then he begins to just tell you stories. And then I enjoy it. So it's honoring to them when they believe that you still value them. So call them. Sometimes run things by them. What would you do in this situation? I know because we want to separate. Oh, I'm married. I don't want that influence. But sometimes run it by them and say, hey, what do you think? What would you do in this situation? What would you have done here? What do you think here? And sometimes honoring them also is forgiving them. Forgive them. I will say it over and over again. Forgive them. Forgive them. Forgive them. Sometimes we need to extend grace and forgiveness and say they are imperfect. They didn't do some things right. Honoring them could be saying, okay, I forgive you for what you've done. And sometimes it's stop blaming them because they are not God in your life. Because sometimes we assume, we expect them to be the God image in our own life, because of their failings. We just can't get past it. Forgive them, but sometimes stop blaming them. They believe that most parents, I'm not saying all parents, most parents were doing what they think was right in their own sight then. They were doing the best they could do. So forgive them. But and then lastly, I would say sometimes tell them how much of a good influence they've been in your life. Let them celebrate them. Tell them, hey, I appreciate that you taught me this when I was young, when I was with you. You taught me these life skills. Or I've seen you, how you manage things like this. And I think I've learned that from you. And I appreciate you. Say, it goes a long way. Appreciate them. Tell them those things they do well. Don't only hold on to just only hold the things that you feel like they did wrong only. So forgive them, visit them, tell them how well they've done, remind them of the good things. Spend time with them. All that goes like into honoring them.
Yeah, that's really good. First of all, the holding grudges, we learned that from them. So we can tell them that I am a professional grudge holder because you taught me
Because
how
of
to do
you.
that. Yes, because we know our parents can hold grudges. But that was fantastic. I think that gave us some practical, ways on how to look at what honoring our parents look like. And you made a good point, and I'm just rounding that up with every culture is different. So you kind of need to see what is culturally relevant for you. You can't use your Western mind for very, very African parents or vice versa. So I think that's really good. And we're going to go into the next topic talking about what role do our parents actually play play when it comes to honor. So that should be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll catch
me
you
too.
over in the next one.
All
Any
right.
last words?
No, you just go and honor your parents.
Somebody go call your mom. She hasn't heard from you in a year.
Go call your dad too.
Yeah, that's true. That word was for me. All right. Catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah, see you.
All right, friends. That's it for today's episode. We hope you've been blessed and learned a thing or two. We also hope that you take the time to study scripture for yourself and to lean into what God might be saying about your particular situation. If you have any questions, feel free to DM us on Instagram at MannaHouseCC or email us at info@mannahouse.us. We look forward to interacting with you there and catching you on the next episode of the Journey podcast. Take care.